So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here with each and every one of you and my colleagues, Diana and Gary, that partner with me in these weekly trainings. We've been doing it for a long time, and I think we gain more than we give from being here with you. Today, we're very lucky to have what I'd like to say is our fearless leader, Executive Director of Mannatech Australasia, Jenny Messenger, as our guest. With an absolute devotion to growing businesses, developing teams, and coaching, mentoring individuals to realize their potential, Jenny has forged a long-standing career within the Australian direct selling industry. She brings a wealth of experience gained from a diverse number of companies driving growth with the enthusiasm and energy to inspire and innovate. Jenny firmly believes that her ability to manage change effectively has been crucial to her success and that of the roles that she has undertaken, and lists her career highlights as being published in the New York Times by one company as being responsible for exceptional sales and consultant growth in recent years, and also being able to contribute as a board member of Direct Selling Association Australia, and subsequently serving a term as chair. Jenny is driven and excited by having the opportunity to help others realize their true potential, with one of her favorite quotes being, "Success isn't about what you accomplish in your life, it's about what you inspire others to achieve." Everyone needs what we have at Mannatech. International expansion is an opportunity to grow our business and reach more people who are praying for what we have. And after the recent MBA and AIM events this past weekend, we're going to be talking about announcements, news, action steps, and some of the promotions, and obviously some Q&A, some which you might have to take on notice. So Jenny, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. And as you reeled off history, Sharon, I felt humble, but that's history. We've got to be excited what I can do now going forward. And oh boy, has it been a challenge. And I'm just hoping, with respect to everyone, this is not Jenny overload, having put up with me last weekend and now again this Saturday morning. But it's my pleasure to be here. And I'm hoping that together as a team, I would like to respond this morning to any questions. I mean, we'll have a chat, obviously, but to any questions that have arisen for what we've just rolled out. So, I'm here to listen, learn, and, and take some notes. So over to you, Sharon. I don't know whether you want to start with some questions or just
let's start with acknowledging the events of last weekend. They're outstanding. They're spectacular, and we're so spoiled. I can't really tell for sure by looking at the list who was there and who wasn't, but if you weren't, we'll do our best to give you some kind of insight, and anybody wants to speak and give a highlight of your favorite, I can authorize you to talk. So it was very broad, is extensive. It was really well put together in a combination of videos and speakers and spotlights of associates in our community that have been doing amazing things. So what was your highlight, Jenny?
Well, if I could just reverse back a bit, I guess last weekend, the challenge for us was the diversity of the audience. We had to put together a program that acknowledged and recognized our golden oldies, with respect. You associates have been in the business for a long time and know a lot, know more than I do, and I'm still learning, but also embrace some new associates, because we'd opened the doors to be welcoming to everybody. Excuse me one moment. Sorry. So from just having, like we tried in past years, an MBA for senior leadership, we felt that an MBA, if somebody really wanted to learn, then, climbing in the windows, we needed to open the door and let them in. So we had a larger, broader audience, and, putting together a program that still engaged, inspired, and also was educational is a challenge. And I hope we delivered on the promise. That was our objective. So I guess there were a couple of highlights for me, Sharon, in responding to your question. One was having Chris with us. Oh boy, can he be a challenge as well? Absolutely. I'm going to be transparent. But, here's a guy who's committed to supporting us in our growth and literally beat down doors to be able to get here, and changed his program around, which is incredible anyway. But it gave us the opportunity to be live with Chris, you know,
Mm.
and I'm hoping, following on from that, that our next event will actually be face to face, belly to belly. I miss them. You know, it is so hard to still feel that you can make a difference behind a camera. You know, there's nothing like being in the same room and having that energy and that enthusiasm and connection, you know, in a live meeting, come to think of it. I guess was actually a highlight, and it may seem strange, but I'm going to be authentic. The highlight is actually seeing the response and interaction from our team. If we can engage everybody that they feel part of it, then to me, that's a success. It's not just about the training we're delivering. It's about the interaction, the commitment, the community, and, you know, being able to, I guess, inspire where to from here. So we were able to put together in my head a program that tried to deliver on all those points. And I guess, you know, responding to chat, responding to Q&A, having those there respond to the polls, give us data that we can analyze and help us formulate, you know, programs going forward. The biggest thing for me now is what everyone's going to do with the information we shared. It's great to roll out new promotions, new initiatives, new words of wisdom from keynote trainers. But if all that stays within the toolbox and isn't used, then it was a waste of time and energy. So we'll be analysing the whole field, I guess, acceptance, understanding, movement. We need momentum. We need to, you know, start really moving forward, whether that is the right platform for our rhythm of events next year. So, you know, one thing builds on another, Sharon. So we'll see where we go from here.
Awesome. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, I always acknowledge you for, to yourself, but also to when I'm speaking to people, is that you're always there's so much improvement in Manatech in making sure the incentives drive people into activity that builds a solid business. And so we used to have incentives that were, in order to achieve them, sometimes it was shooting yourself in the foot from a business structure or various reasons. It's so well thought through now. And so you've enhanced the current promo with the Spring into Action that you launched, you publicly sent out to everybody yesterday. Do you want to explain to people the background of that and how that works?
And I guess that came from, you know, roundtable discussion. And it's about trying to understand what our associates are facing on all levels currently. And obviously with what's going on in, you know, in the community, the wider community at the moment, you know, with rising of petrol prices and, well, everything's going up. So the plan was, well, what could we do that actually helps put a little bit of extra budget in the back pocket to help with the family budget, but also builds the business. So it's a partnership. So obviously, you know, to grow the business, we need to introduce and enroll more associates. That's how we're going to reach out to more customers and get, you know, the product out there in the marketplace, and also reward, you know, as I said, with a bonus. Now, I believe the first order bonus is a great initiative, but now to be able to double it, and obviously it's enrolling 2 new associates in one of the business months, which is a 3-month promotion. You know, to have that first order bonus doubled, you know, it's not going to be game changing, but it's money in the back pocket. But it doesn't stop at 2. I mean, if someone really goes, you know, gangbusters, for want of a better word, you know, 3, 4, 5 in 3 months, then that could make a big difference. So it was about understanding where everyone was, looking at what the business needs are, and also enrolling associates is key to our business growth. So, but that's the first cab off the rank. We sat and planned and looked at, you know, where to from here. And there's several things that we need to do, and that was just the first. So again, it was just addressing some of the concerns for want of a better word, that I hear when I'm talking to people, you know, it now costing $100 to put petrol in the tank, for example, you know. So, you know, $100 can make a difference in, you know, in the family budget. So, and that's, that it was initiated in the US, and we jumped aboard, and let's see how we go. We've only just launched it, and I'll be watching very closely to see the impact of it. But again, you know, we give you, and I say with respect, you, on our audience, the opportunity to do it. But at the end of the day, I can't do it for you. It's up to you.
And for anybody that doesn't know all the details of that, you'll catch up when you look at this week's email from corporate, and there's the video of the launch of that and a flyer, so you can get the full detail there.
I think Liv uploaded the flyer again last night, so that we could get it to the wider audience. And yeah, it's a 3-month promotion, and we'll probably be putting up the full T's and C's. There's just a little few nuances that we have to do to protect the business platform, but it's simple, it's easy, and it's just a case of, well, go for it, try and see what happens. You know, it's just
awesome.
I'm excited about it. I hope you are too.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it is good for business, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Just glancing over here at my notes from the weekend. And another thing that you did that I thought was really awesome is that you did a training for us on mind mapping the business.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
so I don't know if you can visualize that, but you sort of put, you know, your goal in the middle of a circle, and you had 4 major circles around that. Do you remember that content?
Absolutely.
Give an overview?
You know, and it's a I don't know, a pet initiative of mine. I guess that's how I work. And I thought it will make a great train. And I have trained on it in several forums over the years. My challenge, with respect, was doing it virtually, because it's one of those things where you need audience interaction, and, you know, together you work on a mind map. But it's actually about setting your next, where you want to be, you know, next. When we use the next rank up leadership as an example, because people have to take ownership of a mind map. It's not my mind map. It would be yours, Sharon, or yours, Diana, you know. And you actually, that's the circle you start with. So then you actually build around that a group of initiatives that you have to do before you can have that rank up. And obviously some of the key ones are enroll associates, enroll customers, develop relationships. So you actually build a second layer. Then before you actually, let's take one of those circles, enroll associates, there's things you have to do before you can actually do that. And that's like pick up the phone, make the calls. So what you actually do, you start with the end in mind, but then you work backwards. What do I have to do just before that? What do I have to do just before that? What do I have to do just before that? And then on the outer circle are all those key action steps that you need to do right now, and you gradually work towards the center, and you will get that in the target is the next rank of leadership. So it actually keeps it structured. And again, it's an individual's mind map. So then I think I use the example of, you know, when you make the calls, well, what do you have to do? You have to put a time in your calendar, in your diary, when you're going to make those calls. So perhaps utilize power hours. So, you know, it's about, again, taking action. And nothing happens without that first step. So I am thinking of doing it again on a business booster call, just to revisit the strategy and the action plan. And it's about starting right now. So we'll see where we go to. I hope I haven't confused the audience with that analogy, but it's a simple process, and it works really well because it keeps you focused, or keeps everyone focused. Okay. I think you're on mute, Sharon, sorry.
Yeah, I am, sorry. Then you challenge people to develop a 30, 60, 90-day plan and put a track in place for their achievement, what they're wanting to do for themselves.
Well, absolutely, because, you know, you are in business, and we, with respect, you know, it's an opportunity to have a fantastic business platform. And to me, that means, you know, if you work on a 30, 60, 90-day program, I do that all the time, and it's a rolling calendar. What can I do in the next 30 days that's going to impact, make a difference, which will flow over into 60, and some of the longer term initiatives are 90. But then when the first 30 days are up, that 60 is moved into a 30-day plan. So it's a work in progress, and it keeps you on track. And I guess you can tick off those things that you've been able to achieve and are successful at. And in my mind, you need to reward yourself for accomplishments. You need to reward yourself on the journey. So treat yourself to something, even if it's a cup of coffee and a latte down at the local coffee shop. And yeah, did that. But then you also a reminder of what you haven't been able to achieve. So then in the next 30 days, you can roll it over and focus on those key things. So it's, it's a business plan, very simply laid out.
And that reminds me of I can't remember his name. So someone here the guy that talked really, really fast and delivered the stuff about goals.
Noseworthy.
Yeah, Noseworthy, that's it. He made me think of a long time ago, I've told this story many times on this call, is where I set this big goal to achieve something and I didn't make it. And I wasn't experienced at goal setting and not achieving them. And I had gazillions of feelings going on about it. But then when I did it, on reflection, I realized that I'd got way further ahead for having set that goal if I hadn't set that goal, right? And he did it in a very ADD way. But it's like being yelled at, but he was so innovative in his thinking.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it was good. And we're actually thinking of is this a keynote speaker for conference? So, when we introduce somebody and it's to a smaller audience, like at MBA, we watch the take up, we watch the connection, we watch whether the acceptance. And that's how we work with Dr. Adam Fraser and Michael McQueen. And if we feel then that it's accepted by the smaller community and will be appreciated by the wider community, we start looking at the conference platform. So everything has a purpose. And that's where, I guess we get some benefit from seeing the interaction. But to your point, Sharon, too, that's what I guess I try to revisit every time let's use the incentive trip as an example. Yeah. I'd like to try and inspire everybody to go for it. I mean, yes, it's a short game, building a career is the long game. But if come at the end of that promotional period, I try to encourage people not to be disappointed if they haven't actually achieved the trip, because that was what was the inspiration and the focus, but actually look at how much their business has grown, where they are at the end of the promotion compared to where they were at the beginning, because they tried. They've actually moved the needle. They've learned some new skills. They feel more comfortable doing some things that maybe they weren't as comfortable before. So with where I hope I can be a value add, I start making calls and connect with those that I know have really tried hard. Yes, congratulate if they've achieved it, but also get them to think about just what I've said about how far they've moved the needle by just trying. So just try for everything. Just go for it, because have fun along the way and you will end up a bit further up the career ladder.
He said priority is forward movement. It's not really the goal achievement. He said trajectory is more important than target.
Yes.
And I want to versus I plan to.
Oh, that's so key, isn't it?
Isn't it? Belief trumps skills. So that kind of, I learned it sort of the hard way through tough experiences, but that's so important for people to take on board. If you just read that again and again, people would have more confidence in taking action and not allow them to go into the feelings of maybe a goal not quite achieved. That's forward motion, and everybody. And the other thing he said is a work in progress. We are all a work in progress, and we all need to change. There's no destination we're heading for here.
No. But we learn as we grow. And I think that is so value add. And the key word there that you mentioned, Sharon, is want. We always make time for things we want to do. We always make time for, want is an underestimated word, I think, in the English language. And it comes back to why, but, I want to do this and I'm happy to do this. And it helps, you overcome speed bumps along the way. So, yeah, it's a good word.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you want to highlight the bundles at all, Jenny?
Oh yes, and again, that was, and I would like to thank and recognise, we started a discussion with this small group of senior leaders who've got a lot of product experience, much more than I have, about what would make great bundles to add to our portfolio. And it was great, had fabulous input, but we learned a very valuable lesson along the way because the bundles that we could see were so value add, we couldn't support with stock levels. And I can't launch something that goes into back order or puts pressure on. I mean, it's like a juggling act, really. Yeah. So we had to massage the bundles, and they're not quite where we started. And I'm being completely transparent here, but we wanted to give the field something. But because of those lessons learned, we know now what we need to do now to be able to launch more in a year's time, because at the moment, our supply chain timeline has ballooned out to about 12 months. So we have to be so well planned in advance. So, but anyway, let me circle back. The bundles too, we wanted to adopt and adapt a new marketing strategy. Our science, is the best, bar none. And everybody loves to listen to Dr. Nugent and hear about the science and why we do what we do. And, it gives us the credibility and the efficacy of our product range. So, absolutely amazing. But I felt there was a missing link, we, as to the engagement with the consumer. The consumers coming back and saying, I'm stressed. What do I need? They don't necessarily need to know what's in the product. They need to know what it's going to do for them. So the marketing strategy was about naming, the new bundles, the Zen, the Sport. And that's what we're going to do more of going forward. I think, we have, and I'm revisiting and repeating myself, an excellent product portfolio, but I don't believe we market it in the right way because of what it can do. I'm going to call out Mana C, for example. I think that's a great product, but people think it's just about vitamin C, and it isn't. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think we're missing a huge opportunity to give our associates just some key marketing strategies, very simple, and it could be just as simple as renaming bundles so they engage. Can I, with respect to the men in the audience, we get women asking, I'm going through menopause, what I can take. So I'm not going to say we're going to have a menopause pack, but if you say, well, you take this and it will help you, rather than it contains, I don't know, I'm going to call out, ashwagandha and a few ingredients. The audience aren't as savvy as what our associates are. Am I making sense? It's that connection, I think, that we've been missing. And, we want to be, I guess, I wouldn't say simpler, but easier for the consumer to understand how great our products are and what it will do for them. And I think that was one of the reasons that I just decided to underpin the launch with just talking about, the benefits of the product. It was just a few simple sentences about the features, which is the product ingredients, and the benefits to the consumers. And we all know that, features tell the story, but when the customer hears about the benefits, then they make the decision to buy. So just a few simple sentences as part of that launch to help people understand maybe just a key sentence they could add to their connect calls that would make a difference from the consumer's perspective, the potential customers. So again, that's something I think we can revisit again to a wider audience.
I bet you that's a bit,
sorry.
I think it's a bit novel globally in Manatech, isn't it? Because we've always been sort of features focused as opposed to benefit focused.
Yes, yeah, and I find that quite challenging because I'm sorry, I do. If you go into, and I'm not going to use Manatech products, but you just think about sales as a whole, and we're on a sales platform. You go in to buy a fridge, for example. I just thought of a fridge, and the salesman tells you, it's the latest model color, and it's it's got a beautiful stainless steel handle, and you think, oh really? But if he tells you that it will keep your food fresher for longer, so that suddenly that's a benefit, I'm interested. So moving forward, I just want to try and encourage everyone to think about the benefits. We all know what they are, but we tend to circle back and rely on the features because that's our comfort area. It's the knowledge. We need it, absolutely. I'm not decrying that, and that's what, as I said, makes us as good as we are. The science behind our product, but it isn't the science that sells the product. It gives us the confidence to go and offer it to potential customers because we believe in the efficacy, we know how good it is, and we know we're science backed.
Yeah.
But there's just that little step we have to take forward that I think will make a huge difference. I really do. So I'm going to be a bit of a, I don't know, worrywart, squeaky door, whatever, and keep reminding people that just to think about the benefits because they are fantastic. We just don't talk about them.
And Karen in the chat here is just saying how beneficial your one-liners of the benefits of the products, how helpful they were. So we'll be excited to receive more coaching and guidance on that.
Well, I'm happy to take it on a broader platform. As I said, it's something I'm really passionate about. And can I be a bit cheeky and again organic? The last company I think most of our audience know was I was in candles. We didn't sell candles. We sold events. I'm just giving that as an analogy. Sorry, that was just a brain spat, but it just shows you the difference between as I say, customer just thinking, oh yeah, that sounds interesting, to suddenly I want to buy this. Okay, and then they get, once they're in and on board and obviously seeing the benefits of it, then they learn more about the science, and then they're more comfortable and understand why it is working well for them, and how good we are, and what that means. It gives them confidence then maybe to go from customer to associate and go out and promote the product. There's a sort of a step-by-step process that I'm hoping we can just make it easier at that first handshake, that first engagement. Anyway, that's me.
This is going to be a very organic family experience. Now the dogs are barking for breakfast.
You're listening. That's fantastic. Miscommunicating.
Yeah, exactly. Kelly's saying, that's why I've always called Plus my happy pill, which is exactly that, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You also featured some associates as speakers. So I know I was blessed to be interviewed by you, and I really enjoyed being part of that, Jenny. Thank you. But you also did Colleen Ryan, and she gave a presentation on how she presents to new people in a quite a dynamic way. I don't know if anybody here remembers exactly how she did that. Would like to share, or Jenny, do you?
Yes, and again, it's a process that really Colleen engages first with the why, and actually, it's all about
Values based, wasn't it?
And values based, and she actually pulls, and that's obviously something that Colleen is very passionate about, and give her kudos for that. So she actually asks people about their core values, and so and I guess with respect to sometimes our industry as a whole isn't seen in the best light because of what happened years ago. I'm not talking it's about the old sales techniques, and a lot of the earlier companies unfortunately burnt a few bridges in the way they launched their business. I have to say, even myself, I've spent many years trying to raise the bar and the sense of, what's the word I want to use, an honest and sincere business platform rather than a get quick rich scheme. And I'm being completely organic. So we need to be proud of the industry we're in, and unfortunately a lot of people don't see it as they something to build a career, leave school and become a presidential because that's a great career opportunity. No, I'm going to go into you know what I mean, I'm going to go into teaching, for want of a better word. So Colleen actually brings the ethics and integrity up front into the business platform, aligns it with the why, and takes them on the journey and shows them how, promoting what we do in the industry we do still, addresses their ethics and integrity. So she does it in a very structured and great way. And again, it was about having diversity of ideas, because not one thing resonates with everybody, but, across the board training in different ways, and we had, and I'm circling back, we had Bella and Vincent too, how they launched their business platform, both equally successful and just doing the same thing in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
So, that was it. And I'm going to say it was actually fun having the opportunity to interview you, Sharon. Turn the spotlight on you for a change. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So, thank you.
Thank you. I was a bit uncomfortable, but I really enjoyed it too in the moment.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. So again, the MBA as a platform, if it hit the spot, if we get a lot of movement from that, then we know we can repeat it next year. I have to say, a lot of work I'm sure you guys know, a lot of work goes into putting a program like that together, from even working with associates like yourself who've said yes, there's still time, there's still the whole effort of bringing it all together. But if it's not a good fit, if we have to change it and do something different and do something slightly different next year, we'll be looking at the whole rhythm of events and see what do we need to do. You can't keep doing the same thing. If our audience gets smaller, for example, then we have to look at doing something different. So you can do the same amount of work, and if you're reaching 20 people as whether you're reaching 200. Makes sense. So it was great. We had a good audience, but we need to analyze whether it is worth what we have to do with a small team going forward next year. See how we go.
Awesome. And it should be said too, is it's unprecedented times to be doing an analysis of that, isn't it? There's so many complicated things that was influencing the whole business and wellness community.
Yeah. And the other thing too, coming back again into a virtual platform, I think, we do it, but it doesn't take the place of face-to-face meetings, and how to keep, 3 times a year doing a virtual event, or 4 times a year actually, conference, AIM and MBA, and making them different, making them I guess something that people want to spend their time engaged, sitting at home, on Zoom, watching a meeting, when it's not half as much fun as being together. And that's why my other passion is having fun together as a team. I guess you've known that by now. Just to having an engagement session at any event we do that is topical, different, completely off, the platform, is like painting, like we did, so that we have fun as a team. Again, using the analogy, I firmly believe a team that has plays together stays together, and I think it's great. So anyway, I enjoyed that night. I thought
I did too. I don't know if you can see this because I've got blurred, but I used, if everybody can see that,
back a little, okay.
We all had the opportunity to paint that. We're coached and guided to paint. I was freaking out. I thought, I'm not artistic, I can't do this. But I felt so calm and peaceful after. It was, I used my kids' crayons instead of the paints, because I was on the dining room table. But and my daughter did a beauty. I should get a picture of hers, what she did with the paints while I was doing that. It was such an enjoyable experience. There's so much chat and so much, I don't know, it felt surreal. I suppose a couple glasses of wine probably helped it too, but
again, it was engagement on a different level, wasn't it? And I didn't put my picture in. I've got mine in the office, but again, we chose green for growth because we're going to have that as our conference theme. Go for growth, and I think Nina did a great job again virtually. Working us through the process, and from the feedback we got, everybody enjoyed that session, and it was completely different, completely out of the box. But I was going to say, in the years ahead, you actually, when you look back, you remember the fun times. You remember whether it was having fun with the children when you visited the orphanage, whether it was, you know, enjoying a trip together and doing something crazy, whether it was, oh, do you remember that night we sat in our own rooms and painted together? It's those sort of things that keep the community of the company engaged. And I don't know, bring it on for AIM. We'll have to come up with something a bit different again.
But I can't believe I did it, to be honest, because I was just totally, I thought, oh, for God's sake, why are we doing something like this? But I really enjoyed it. Another, so I learned something about myself.
Yeah, I guess what I'm interested in, and you know, we, as you mentioned, we have several on your call this morning, Sharon, that were at the MBA. I'd be interested, not that I know all the answers, but are there any questions that this is an ideal opportunity to ask? And if not, I've got my notepad here ready that I can capture it, because to me, the value add, as I said, is the ongoing engagement. You know, we are a team, and the team means every one of us. And the more feedback we get, the more input we get, it actually helps us to be better, you know. And that's the other thing I've struggled with, not being able to get out and sit and chat and connect, because you know what, in this role, you know, you can't make decisions in an ivory tower that benefit everybody if you don't know what's going on out in the marketplace. So taking the opportunity to phone, to chat, to have video calls, to get feedback helps to keep me engaged. Not that I can always give everything everybody wants or they ask for, but it gives me an understanding of the situations that everyone's facing a bit more than just reading about it, hearing about it. It's that organic conversations that an idea can just be floated, may not be put into place, you know, straight away, but gives a pathway to where we need to be mindful of where we're going or what we need to do along the journey. So sorry, I've chatted on again, but if there's any questions, I'd love to hear it, seriously.
Well, you'll see, I'm looking over to the right, I'm skimming the comments, and lots of gratitude for the generosity of the pack. Right. I've still got my box here, sitting here beside me.
All right, okay.
And it was, thank you, you know, on behalf, there's a lot of thanks in the chat there, and thank you for all of us. And also lots of gratitude for the painting. Painting was fun. So,
right. And I guess, you know, that probably reinforces just what I've heard from you there, Sharon. Thank you for conference. You know, conference is an expensive initiative. It's a big investment for everybody.
It is.
But it is an important investment because everybody gains so much from participation. And the plan is for conference to have it live. So we're looking at what we can do to offset expenditure, because everything's gone up, you know, even accommodation's gone through the roof. You know, crazy ideas, send out money boxes to everybody and get them to start saving gold coins. You know, I love the phrase success comes in cans, not in cannots, but I can't do that. But, you know, it just, you know, what can we do to offset that expenditure? Another idea was, well, if we have got products that we can send out that offset some of the conference investment, maybe we do more of that. So I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what we're already thinking of, because conference is key, I think, getting everybody back together, rebuilding the community. Chris has got it in his diary. You know what I mean? I'd love for everybody to start thinking about, yes, it is going to be an investment in the business. There's no denying that. We're trying to minimize the impact as much as possible by negotiations. But we need an audience for, I don't know who's planning to be at conference, we'll see.
Well, they're legendary conferences, aren't they? They're just, it's so cool. And you know, for welcome to anybody here who's quite new, but it's like getting together with a whole big family, really. And learning and growing and celebrating and you know, recognizing people for their contributions in business and any other way in the community. There are some questions. I don't know if you can answer this one, but possibly a future consideration to starting the Sunday session a bit later. So for church commitments.
Sure. We thought 10 o'clock was reasonable. Obviously, it's not. So that's good feedback. The question was asked. So I guess my question to the question is, what would be? Do we go to an afternoon session? Do we leave the morning free and go like 12 to 2, or do we just move it to 11:30 to 3:30? The person who's asked the question, I'd like a suggestion as part of the
So
solution.
Christine, if you have a time that you'd like to propose.
Yeah.
I do my church at home, my church in a different format, but so I can change the timing, but I can appreciate that's important.
Yeah.
Diana's just commenting that Dr. Nugent pointed out that digestive health is twice as much in demand in the marketplace as immune health now, which that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we've seen that take up over the last, 4 or 5 months. So, we are looking at, again, that drive again, or that interest, how we can support that. Maybe it's another bundle, maybe it's a promotion, but I mean, we've got the GI Pro on at the moment as a special running. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, it is running. Yeah, we haven't stopped it. She thinks, I don't know, too much has happened this week. Yes. I need to get my head back into gear. As I said earlier, Chris takes no prisoners. We've had a crazy week, but it's exciting. We've got a lot ready now to, there was a few things we needed to get him ticked off on, not ticked off as in upset. But
he needed his tick of approval.
Yeah. So that we can, do what we'd like to do. So I'm excited about where to from here. Okay.
I would like to say that I felt so good that Chris was going to be here with you, because like you said, it'd been 2 years since you've had direct face-to-face contact almost.
Nearly, 3 actually. I think 2019 was conference, our last face-to-face conference, and he left the shores then. And this is the first time he's been able to get back. So yes, we're in contact. Yes, we have Zoom meetings, but actually to get him in the boardroom, take his phone away,
pin him down,
was good, because everything else is always happening on the fly. We have regular catch-ups and meetings, but it was good. And there was a few big decisions we had to make, but also just inside goss here, we went out and saw a manufacturing facility. One of the next big initiatives, and I raised it at the DSA a couple of years ago, is the fact that I think with the supply chain issues that we are now facing, it makes more sense to see what we can do with local manufacture. I know we have some of our products locally manufactured, but if we can take the pressure off of, orders being delayed, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, they can be sitting with customs, TGA, having to tick and check boxes, all sorts of things. So we went out and looked at a manufacturing facility, and of course, a manufacturing facility has to be TGA approved for them to take on our work. So, wanted to look at the facility before we even started thinking about that. But to me, that makes sense. If, then, we don't have, import issues, and, you can go down to a local manufacturer and beat them up if they're not doing what you want to do, rather than it's somewhere isolated. And I'm being cheeky, but that was good. So, we got that in the program. And then we also circled back and visited FDM. And that was another thing that was really value add. The challenges at the moment, and they're probably going to get worse, is actual the labor force. It's so transient at the moment, but it's also lacking, not in so many areas. I mean, you've even heard about Qantas, they can't fulfill basic roles because what used to be the migratory element of the population, backpackers, people traveling, people wanting contract work, they're not there anymore. So there's this big hole of people who, just can't stand on a pick and pack line, or, there's just not the availability. Or if you do get somebody and they just suddenly decide that, they've had enough, they can walk out the door and go home, and they don't come back tomorrow. And I'm being devil's advocate here. So sorry. Circling back to the reason to going to FDM was to understand their operation, to try and be ahead of the game, and also the investment they're making in technology to offset that challenge as it eventuates and maybe gets worse. And that was pretty amazing. And we're going to be sharing a video. We're just putting something together so that people can actually understand the the game plan, for want of a better word, the proportion, I mean, their facility is about the size of 3 football fields. So the
Wow.
amount of stock they hold from different companies, I mean, it really is a state-of-the-art facility. So, you know, they're trying to do everything they can to support us, and we need to do everything we can. And I have to say, you know, we've learned too, and I'm going to take it on the chin here, that some of the mistakes that have been made are our fault, not necessarily FDM, whether it's, you know, I don't know, IT connections, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to improve that partnership, and they're doing everything they can. And Chris was also blown away. They have this, and I'm not too sure everyone's interested, but I tell you how exciting it was. They have this machine that stacks product in trays. So, for example, you could put all our product in trays, and it goes up and down with automatic picker and comes down. And so the person standing there just picks out of trays rather than walking up and down. You can see me waving. I'm sorry, I can't talk without moving my hand. You know, without walking back and forwards up a line. So you get efficiency of time and efficiency because the machine's telling you what to pick. And there's only 3 machines in the country, and FDM have all 3 of them. And we saw one in operation with another product, and it drops like 3 meters in 2 seconds or something. I mean, it's just going up and down like this. So,
oh my God,
it was amazing. And Chris was busy taking photos and videos. So, you know, we've got to, I guess, be good at our communication and messaging that FDM is a state-of-the-art facility. It's not a backyard, you know.
Awesome. And there's also a comment to highlight the work that Chris is doing to get M5M local in Australia.
Yeah, we've also started again, and some of our senior leaders have given us some reference points. You know, we have communities that are in need of, you know, exactly what M5M Phytoblend, well, the Phytoblend does. And I think it would be good for our associates to feel that some of their hard work and effort is actually coming back into the local community. So that's another big initiative that's, you know, in the plan. So, you know, we, with respect, and gosh, am I chatting, Sir Sharon? I'm sorry.
No,
with respect, we haven't been sitting on our hands saying, oh, well, it's COVID, we can't do anything. We just, obviously, the effort the whole team is putting in to work around, over, under, you know, come up with ideas just to support everyone in the field and keep your business, everyone's business, you know, on a solid platform.
Another question, a packing day for the M5M. Remember how they did that in the US? They had a big warehouse and they packed the packages.
Yeah, we tried that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to, being rude. Sorry, Sharon.
No. So is that possible in Australia? Is that?
Well, we did look at that. There are some challenges because we wanted to do that in 2021. We started the process. Can I just say we come to a full stop because of what we needed to do and how we needed to do it, but absolutely believe that's something that we need to think about how we can do, not what we can't do. So, you know, we're definitely looking at that. It's actually getting the product in a way that, again, we can still get it, I guess, what's the word I want to use, as a packing initiative. I think everybody would enjoy that. So yeah, it's on the agenda. I'm just not sure how we're going to achieve it because we did meet some hurdles. Okay.
Yeah, there's probably quite a few biosecurity type issues doing something like that.
Yes.
You need, because probably at they did it at corporate in the US, didn't they? So they would have that in their facilities ready to go. So
yeah.
I think that's just about it in the chat, Jenny. There's still some people going back different needs for Sunday, so there's no clear answer, anywhere between 10 and 5.
Oh, okay.
So,
right. Well, that's okay. Let's just keep them coming. So
yeah, and then the conference is usually face to face as well. So there's people thinking, well, about traveling, it's too late after 5. So there'll be, as always, a very diverse amount of needs in making those decisions.
Sundays on conference historically doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be what we're doing going forward. Has been for a senior leader group, just as a bit of a a where to from here session. So, we'll have a look at that, but we usually start around about 10 o'clock. So as I say, I hope this hasn't been Jenny overload. I've just, again, happy to be on the call, happy to have a chat. And I guess I'm in a chatty mood this morning, Sharon, I'm sorry, but
No, it's perfect.
what I'd like to do is say formally in a training platform, some of those key initiatives that we did and some of this group saw them, the mind mapping, Phil Noseworthy, and there was a couple of others that we will now fine tune a little bit and take out on our business call platform going forward. So if you want to learn more, know more, that's an opportunity. And our first business booster call is an accountability call on whether, what people have done with the mind mapping and the 30, 60, 90 day plan. So it wasn't just about presenting on that event. It was about keeping the momentum going. So
bringing them along on the journey.
Yes.
Awesome. So I think there was one question I didn't cover was, that Jessica Gallagher was awesome, the athlete.
Yes. Oh, mind blowing. I think actually I sat there and oh my gosh, talk about courage. Just one word, courage. She's a beautiful person. And that was actually recorded for us. The game plan was for her to be at the NBA, but again, because we had to go virtually. So again, she actually was speaking to our audience, but she's a beautiful soul. So genuine and still doing so much within the community. So she's got a huge consignment of Mannatech products winging her
awesome.
Just to say thank you.
Awesome. So for those that don't know who she is, she's a vision.
Vision impaired Paralympian.
Vision impaired. I was going to say vision disabled. I knew that wasn't right. Vision impaired Olympian and Commonwealth Games. It was just, how you can imagine being mostly blind and skiing and doing all the things she did.
I mean, that fast down the ski slopes.
I know, I was having a heart attack.
Unbelievable. A beautiful soul. Yeah. And, the sad reality is she, there's no cure for it. She knows it's what's at the end of, she ended up blind, completely blind at the end of the day. So anyway.
It was a degenerative disease. I think we've covered everything, Jenny. What an awesome morning. I think there was Dr. Nugent's video. He did the same one for Australasia, a similar one with a similar content. The video that you played, or any of the videos, or any of them able to be made available?
They will go up on the library. We did have to top and tail Dr. Nugent's a little bit, God love him, but because there was a few things that he talked about that we don't have in this market, and that's always a challenge. And there was one product still in there that we just couldn't edit out. Because he has to do a video for a wider audience. But they will go up in the library because they're so value add. And I'll have a chat to Olivia about Jessica's, because that was so inspirational. It was unbelievable. But you know what? I'm going to be just very quick, Sharon. It's with respect, people invest in attending MBA. So we need to make sure we keep a few things that make that investment valuable. If we then just make everything available to everybody, then why do people think about investing in the MBA? So there's a balance here to get the information out to a broader audience, yes, but to keep some things special that make it worthwhile.
I get that.
To invest in the MBA. So it's a difficult balance, but I just wanted to point that one out. It's not about not sharing. It's about trying to be value add for everybody. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jenny, God bless you. Thank you for being here. It's a great, almost an hour to spend with you today.
Oh my gosh. I say verbal diarrhea this morning, Sharon. I'm sorry.
No, lots of interest, lots of comments, lots of engagement. So we've hit the nail on the head. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And it's been a pleasure, everyone. Have fun, enjoy the business, and let's see where to from here. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Next week's Luciano. We'll see you then. Come with your questions. Bye, everyone.